Good morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Fellowship of Nanaimo. Our mission is to create spiritual connection and bring compassion, discovery, and social justice to life. My name is Larry Bolt, and I have the privilege and honor to be your service leader this morning. My pronouns are he, him, and his. Please take a moment now. Oh yeah, I better do that. Silence your cell phones. Good. And yeah, because, I don't know about you guys, but I've been that guy when it goes off in the middle of something, and it's like, you don't want to be that guy. Let's say hello to everyone on Zoom today. Turn around and see the green frog and wave up there. And then we're in gallery mode, so if you turn around here, you'll see a couple of them waving back. Whatever your hopes and dreams, aspirations, whatever your race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, whatever makes you who you are warmly welcomed here. In keeping with our Unitarian Universalist aspiration of radical inclusion, we invite you to share your pronouns as well as your name when introducing yourself, if you are comfortable doing that. We are grateful for the diversity of voices on Sunday mornings, and our services vary from week to week. It can range between 60 and 70 minutes long. If this is your first time with us, a very special welcome. If you're joining us online, please consider sharing your contact information with us. You can share it with the host by going to the chat icon at the bottom of your screen. We'd love to welcome you to our community. We have a website, ufon.ca, that's spelled UFON.ca, and invite you to check it out for more detailed information about who we are, the services we offer, and how you can connect with us. We acknowledge today that we meet on the traditional territory of the Snuneymuxw First Nation. As Unitarians, we are committed to the work of reconciliation required to address the harm done to all Indigenous peoples and their cultures by non-Indigenous peoples. We have much to learn from the Indigenous perspective, including that the earth is a source of all life and that our responsibility is to honor and care for it. So I just want to start the announcements here by letting everyone know that our wonderful music director, Leah Hokinson, is taking a couple of well-deserved months off to visit Southern California. Today we are so grateful to have with us, just back from his world tour of his phenomenal show with our own Patrick Curtin, a very merry highspus, Nico Rhodes. Who, by the way, he hasn't accepted my friend request yet on Facebook. I found the following information, though, that he had on his Facebook page. He's a musician, but to be clear, he tries not to define his existence by his profession and passion. He loves exploring the mind, both his and others, so be careful, and the world around him, both physical and musical. He loves to read, walk, bike, swim, and practice, play, and compose music. He plays chess and cooks. Now, I've been told that if you plan to play chess with him, plan to be playing a single game for several years. I'm told he takes his time between moves.
Oh, sure it was. I know it was Zale. Plus one Zale. Well played, Zale. Well played.
The new FUFON members, friends and members directory is now ready for you. However, because of security concerns, it will not be automatically emailed out to everyone. Instead, printed copies will be made available for pickup at the Sunday services back here on the table. Our wonderful Brenda and Bev back there. If you prefer to have it emailed to you, please let Brenda in the office know, and she will send it to you. There will be a delay. She will be taking some time off after the 15th of January for a medical procedure. You can reach her at info@ufon.ca. And lastly, the charity tax receipts. It's coming to that time of year again. Our plan is to offer to all who donate to our fellowship the option of receiving your charity tax receipt via email. If you still prefer to receive your donation receipt via hard copy, please email Brenda Pilon at the same email, info@ufon.ca, by this Wednesday, the 31st. This is an announcement that's been in the weekly updates for a few weeks now. If you wish to receive them via email, don't do anything. you'll get it by email. To find out about all special events, groups, and meetings taking place in the hall, you can go to the calendar on our website, read the weekly email that sent to you on Fridays, or check out the large whiteboards in the hall out by the washrooms through this door here. And today we have our own Reverend Ashley. She joined us last month after serving the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Sterling, Virginia for the past 3 years. We're so grateful, oh, so grateful, that she, her husband, Reverend Derek of Hope Lutheran Church, and their children, Dog and Parakeet, decided to make the move to join us in Canada, eh?
Welcome to this place of reflection, fellowship, and inner growth. I'm Reverend Ashley, and it is my honor to serve as your minister. As we enter into this time of sacred awareness, I invite you to rest. Rest in this present moment with an open heart. Simply let this moment be as it is. Our chalice lighting today comes from the Reverend Raleigh Weaver. As we light this chalice, we remember that belonging is not a place, but a promise to see one another as worthy, to offer space for each soul to be its full self. May this flame remind us that belonging comes from our feelings of being worthy and seeing the worth in each person, worth in each moment we share, and worth in the community we build together. As the light grows, may we nurture a space where all are seen, heard, and valued, and may we continue the work of building a beloved and inclusive community. All those who are young of body or spirit or who are accompanying them are invited to join me up here to hear a story. Maybe. Think about it. All right, so we're going to sing you a song about going somewhere, and you can choose whether you want to go and play or whether you want to stay here and then So you're either going there or you're going there, but we'll sing about you going away either way. We're a community that seeks to be present to one another, especially in times of great joy or sorrow. Now is the time in our service when we make space to listen deeply to significant losses and milestones. If you're in the sanctuary, I invite you to come forward and share your name or your sorrow, and take a stone to place in the water. And if you're on Zoom, you can wait for the stones up here, and then we'll place the stones for you. I will place one final stone for all the joys and sorrows shared today and those unspoken and held in our hearts. I invite you to take a moment for meditation or prayer as you are called.
Our reading today was written by Bell Hooks. I dream about a culture of belonging. I contemplate what our lives would be like if we knew how to cultivate awareness, to live mindfully, peacefully, if we learned habits of being that would bring us closer together, that would help us build beloved community.
Please rise and body your spirit for hymn number 1058, Be Ours a Religion. I think a lot these days about what could make a person accept atrocities. Part of why I moved here from the States, the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back, was hearing someone I knew to be good and kind express their willingness to accept torture and genocide and slavery, so long as the victims were undocumented immigrants. And that was when I knew the guardrails might not hold on a functioning society. And it's hard to wrap your mind and heart around the reality that some people don't really care much about anyone other than themselves. And I still struggle with that sometimes, but even that I could understand better than the people who are good neighbors and good friends who take care of their sick mother and give treats to the neighborhood dogs, but can still accept horrific things. You know, there are some people who just don't think about other people, any other people, as if we matter. And maybe they have a neurological issue that science will figure out one day. Maybe they're traumatized. Maybe they were told they were a very special boy, too much or not enough. Really doesn't matter. They're rare and they're best avoided, but they make their own kind of sense to me. And it's the ones who clearly have empathy, but exhibit none for certain kinds of people that I had a much harder time figuring out. And then watching a nice grandma talk one day about the need to kill so many people, it hit me. She has empathy for the people she thinks are good, the in-group. And she has no empathy and, in fact, capability for the greatest cruelty for those who are bad, the out-group. So people like her will accept atrocities so long as the atrocities only affect the out-group. And eventually, if you follow that path, the out-group has no children, the out-group has no innocent victims, and a nice little grandma can support killing them all. Because she would never do that to the good people. She just wants to protect the good people. We live in a societal structure that the theologian Elizabeth Schussler Fiorenza called curiarchy. It comes from the root curious. It's the combination of every kind of oppression that you can think of into one interrelated whole of domination, and each form of oppression relying on the others to function and supporting each other. The Greek root comes from the rule by a master or rule by a lord. And in that system, there are lots of in-groups and out-groups. And there are punishments for falling into the out-groups. And not exactly benefits for being in the in-group, relative benefits. You know, you get more stuff, you avoid more headaches and dangers, you have more choices relative to the out-group. But of course, your life is still worse in absolute terms than it would be if no one was oppressed at all. So for example, a rich person might have more safety than a poor person, but they have to live in a compound to protect themselves from the greater dangers that a very unequal system creates. There isn't any reason to kidnap billionaires for ransom if no one ever goes hungry. So in relative terms, a rich person might be better off than a poor person under kyriarchy, but in absolute terms, their life is worse and they're less free. Or when I see the podcast types who really romanticize patriarchal gender roles of the past, and they promise young men they won't be lonely anymore if we could just return to that. I always think of the fact that in the past, when the laws meant a married woman didn't have the ability to leave and still have access to food and medical care, the husband with control over that could never know whether she loved him or hated him. And how lonely and awful that is. So in relative terms, it is definitely better to be the one with control over the food. But in a free world, you can have food and know that your partner actually wants to be with you. And that goes for all of us, all these different ways that we benefit from being part of in-groups. It's worse to be part of the out-group, but an unjust system is just not great for anyone. And the thing about systems built on in-groups and out-groups is that there's always the threat that you will be moved to the out-group. The rich person's money can be taken away. Some new group that you're part of can become the new target. So there's always that threat of the lack of freedom to keep you in line. And the way kyriarchy gets you to buy in, gets you to protect it as if it benefits you, is by scaring you. If you're afraid of other people, you're afraid they're going to take away your safety and your sense of goodness and your money and your identity, you'll fight them and maintain the system of harm rather than joining in with them to create a system that benefits you more. Kyriarchy whispers to you like a serpent in your ear. It tells you that you and people like you are more important, better, more human. It invites you to ignore their suffering or enjoy their suffering, to believe that you benefit from their suffering, that your identity is stronger and better because they are pushed down. And most importantly, it tells you that you will be safe if you just follow its rules. The thing is, though, the circle of safety in that kind of system only gets smaller and smaller. Kyriarchy always ends like the Niemöller poem, with no one being left to speak out when they come for you. Eventually, you will be part of a group that becomes the target. Because the thing about kyriarchy is that there needs to be constant punishment to keep the hierarchy in place. And as each group is burned through, some new target and some new horror is always necessary. In its final form, kyriarchy says there should only be one person better than everyone else who gets to be safe, who gets to have dominance at all times. His hair is perfect. He's the right race and the right religion, and does all the things associated with power. And someone may convince a certain number of people to go along with that for a while. But of course, no one is always strong and dominant. Everyone gets old and sick. Things change. So dictatorship is an end stage to kyriarchy, but in its final form, kyriarchy isn't dictatorship, it's just chaos and violence when it all breaks down. Kyriarchy draws a circle of safety and over time makes the circle smaller and smaller until no one is in it. And there's a kind of person who embraces that. They believe the lie that they're safe in that circle, and they defend the circle fiercely. And they celebrate the suffering of those outside it. And then there are those of us who don't believe that anyone should be outside the circle of safety. That's what our faith is about. Drawing the circle of safety and love bigger and bigger until everyone is in it and no one is left out. The nice grandma who supports genocide is confusing until you realize that she only cares about the in-group. It's just a way of looking at the world that is fundamentally at odds with our worldview. See, there are two kinds of people. Those who divide the world into in-groups and out-groups, and those who don't. The ones who think they're more important than everyone else, and those who see everyone as equal. The ones who don't value the lives of others, and the ones who do. The ones who embrace evil, and those of us who are good and kind. You know what? What if we just found a way to make those evil people disappear? See what I did there? It's not wrong to say there's a difference between those of us who aspire to make the circle of safety universal and those who are working to make it smaller. Those who think of everyone and those who only think of themselves. It's not wrong to point out the victimization of oppressed people. But the really hard question is how we do this without replicating the dynamic of the in-group and the out-group. Especially when there are people who truly want to kill us for our identity or our beliefs or our place in society. You know, there are very real political movements that want to kill large groups of people. They lie constantly. They don't believe in allowing dissent. So engaging those groups as if they are normal political actors who can engage in good faith debate or on the international level, normal diplomacy, is not wise. The philosopher Karl Popper wrote about the paradox of tolerance, which is that unlimited tolerance for all viewpoints, including authoritarian viewpoints, leads to authoritarian takeover. Because authoritarians don't play by the rules of democratic engagement, they just use them to their own ends. And similarly, there are those people I mentioned who just don't care about others. And if you imagine they're going to show you empathy because you show empathy to them, that's naive. They will take advantage of any system that lets them and any person who lets them. So we have to find a way to hold empathy for those who have no empathy and make space for different beliefs without making space for beliefs that take that space away. And it can be tempting to want instead to cast those harmful people out and to destroy them before they destroy us. But that's not the way. We don't maintain empathy just because we expect others to extend it back to us. We want a circle of safety that includes everyone, not because everyone is always good, but because everyone can suffer. And that's the only qualification needed to be extended compassion. So, how do we do that? I think we start by understanding that compassion doesn't always mean giving people what they want, but drawing that line between self-protection and aggression can be very hard. We have to watch ourselves for the in-group and the out-group thinking. We have to be very careful not to become monsters ourselves in response to the monstrous. And this is why spiritual community is so very important. This is where we build that muscle of compassion, in community that supports us and challenges us in our shared goal of developing our kindness. This is where we develop our patience and our generosity and all those other qualities that we need to build a better world. And this is a place where we work on getting along with people who we don't always quite get, aren't always quite like us. People we did not choose from a perfectly curated algorithm. We get to practice a world where everyone is in the in-group, in easy mode, so we can go out into the rest of the world and work on it in the current nightmare mode. Spiritual community also turns us toward connection to those transcendent realities that move us beyond the dualistic thinking that separates us from others and creates those in-groups and those out-groups. You know, I love books and thinking and all that stuff, but this isn't just an intellectual task. We're not going to think our way out of it with all our best thoughts. We need to transform our hearts, and that is where we need the spiritual life and spiritual practice. I believe that the spiritual life, spiritual community, and spiritual practice is part of how we can find our way out of that endless cycle of in-groups and out-groups, retaliation and lack of care. And I'm glad we're here together in this circle that includes the whole world. May it never be smaller. Amen.
We'll now have our offering. My beautiful bride Sharon and Charla will now pass the baskets for the offering. For those here with us for the first time, your presence is your contribution. Those online can go to our website and click the big blue donate button at the bottom of the homepage. To help the wider community, half of all cash donations will be given to our charity of the month. This month's charity is the Loaves and Fishes Community Food Bank. Currently, more than 15,000 people in 40 communities across Vancouver Island, including 15 Indigenous communities, receive the food Loaves and Fishes provides. If you want your donation to go to the charity of the month, you will need to make a note of that on your e-transfer or check. Or there's little envelopes in the basket if you prefer. And for those of you who don't carry cash, we now accept your donations via debit or credit cards. This can be done at our welcoming table near the entry doors, where we'll see Brenda and Bev back there, and they can help you with that. Thank you for your support.
Body or Spirit for hymn number 1064, Blue Boat Home. always be held in a circle of care and safety. And as you are included in that circle, may you join in the infinite work of extending it to all. Go forth and be a blessing.
Please join me in, while we extinguish the chalice. Together again. We're nearing the end of our service. After we sing Carry the Flame, you'll have the opportunity to join a social group. There are breakout rooms available online for the next 30 minutes. If you want to join an online breakout room, stay online and the host will put you into one. We have refreshments and conversation will be held here in the hall. I want to thank the many people who have given their time and energy to make today's service so wonderful. The Sunday Services Committee, the audiovisual team, the greeters and offering collectors, those at the welcoming table, the kitchen volunteers who come early and stay late for cleanup, those who brought food and flowers, and last but not least, our guest musician today, Nico Rhodes, our heartfelt gratitude to everyone. Oh, and of course, can't forget Reverend Ashley. Thank you. Major part of this. How did I miss that in that part? When you get to be my age. And on a personal note, I just want to wish everyone a safe, healthy, and happy new year. We'll now sing our final song, Carry the Flame. The words are on the wall in the hall at the back here and off in this corner over here. Our custom is to stand and hold hands or touch elbows as you are comfortable.